Hello. Today we're chatting about retention recipes. I'm joined by the marvelous Julie Allen, director at Active Insight, good friend. We're often on videos with each other on the collective, but yeah, chatting about a bit more focused on retention today. Thanks for joining us, Jules. Good to see you.
Thank you for having me, Guy. Always good to be here.
So we've got this retention recipes book out from GG Fit, and just to bring some of the courses within and some of the recipes to life, I'm chatting to different people who've worked in lots of different areas of the industry. And Jules is my chosen expert on levers. And when we're talking about levers, Jules, you work across customer experience and events as well with Active Insight. But you've got lots of experience from working in clubs. In fact, you were back at one of your clubs recently, weren't you? Back at Hearts.
I was.
Responsibility. So I've done a lot of work around this, have a lot of experience in this. Yeah, the idea of these short clips is just to share some of those experiences. Now, for me, focusing on levers, it's a no-brainer. Not everyone does it, but we're not necessarily going to go into the why you should do it, because it's the right thing to do. Don't ignore your levers. Don't stick your head in the sand. There's lots of stats, lots of information that probably Jules will share a bit with us. For me, talking to levers, there's three reasons, and really quickly. The first is you get feedback. It's not necessarily to save them, but get some feedback, get some information, because with that information, A, you can improve your retention by looking at your other process and what's going on, but B, you can then have more chance of saving them. That report. And then, yeah, third part is to say thank you. But what, in terms of your experience, Jules, what's the most important thing for you, either where you've worked or when you've talked to hundreds of clubs like me? What's your view on those kind of three things with levers? Or
I guess, firstly, we feel really strongly at Active Insight around this part of the customer journey, because as you've already said, guys, that sort of bit that gets so overlooked. People don't want to speak to levers. They don't want to have that conversation. And to an extent, I understand that. It's human nature. It could be a challenging conversation and you might not be equipped to deal with what you're going to hear. We know through working with our partners that when you design this moment in your customer journey, so everyone's really clear on it's not a process, i.e., I'm looking to cancel, here's the form, but we can start to have an effective conversation, which is plenty of things we could sprinkle into your retention recipe here for that. But to actually take that data, and what we do through one of our platforms, we actually take the member back to that emotive space of why they joined in the first place, because that aids the conversation. Somebody says, actually, I was looking to do couch to 5K and I'm struggling to even get through the doors here. Right. Okay. Now let's use our toolbox. Where can we signpost them? Can we arrange a one-to-one? Can we re-engage? And what we see through our insight that we have through Recovery Focus, but we also have from the national picture, is we know when we have an effective conversation, we can retain people because they're not looking to become inactive. In fact, through our consumer insight panel, we see consistently 8.5 out of 10 people would like to be more active. And that's those that consider themselves to be active and those that aren't. So where's that disconnect? Now, again, I know we're on a short time frame here, Guy. You know how I feel about this part of the journey. But I guess one of the key ingredients has to be design that customer experience at that point, take it away from that process, that transactional interaction to why would you want to leave? Bearing in mind, most clubs you and I work with, they want to create a sense of belonging, don't they? In a community, in a place that people want to be. So it should be a very natural conversation of, say it was yourself, Guy, coming up to me, for me to then say, Guy, I'm sorry to hear that you're looking to leave us. And we start to change the language and it becomes more emotive. Then actually, Guy, we can take you back to that space of, yeah, actually running that 5K is really important to me. Let us help you do that because that's why you chose to come through these doors in the first place.
Yeah, yes.
All there.
Yeah, so it's taking them back to the start of the journey, but overall, it's about the conversation, which if we distill all of retention back to absolute basics, it is talking to people.
Yeah,
But
it really is.
talking's been the right way at the right time, but it's talking to people and trying to get these conversations out, not being frightened of talking to leavers. You will get some bad news, and listen, you're not going to save many of them. But if you don't have a conversation, you're not going to save any of them.
Yeah, and that's such a valid point. And this series that you're putting together with your retention recipes is fantastic because it's where all of these recipes work together. Your starter is onboarding your members effectively. We've got the main course. We don't really want people to get to this to desserts, although maybe that's probably why I need to go to the gym. But anyway, that's a separate conversation. You know what? we know, again, through working with partners, for instance, one of our partners started working with us with our recovery focus platform, which allows you to really design and deliver that part of the journey. Now,
Yeah.
within the first 2 weeks, at just one of their sites, and they're a small trust, but they've got a few sites, they had saved 17 members. 17 members who were looking to leave, who probably would have said that they were relocating, but actually, because we delivered that work with the guys around how to have that conversation, to stay true to your brand values and how you want people to feel, that actually they were empowered in that conversation, were
Yeah.
equipped to signpost. And Guy, even worst case scenario, somebody is genuinely looking to leave because they are actually relocating or whatever that may be, then you have that opportunity to say, thanks for spending your time with us. We're really pleased that you were here. If you're ever back in the area, we'd welcome you back with open arms. And from operational experience, I've seen it. People have come back into time. Sorry.
No,
Okay.
I was just going to add to it. It's, that third piece of then say thank you. Some members have been there for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Look at your onboarding if it's that short. But some members have been there for 2 years or 20 years. All these different people, they're all leaving. You can say thank you for your business to all of them and leave the door open. There's lots of other things that we both talk about around that. But saving 17 members from, I think, a couple of hundred who were trying to leave, it sounds simple, and the recovery focused product is simple but brilliant. But it does exactly what it says in the can. Focus on your recovery. And not only will you save a bunch of members, which obviously is brilliant for the bottom line, you will also learn so much about what's going well. Because a lot of the focus you will get from leavers is, that task is brilliant. That instructor, if it wasn't for them, I would have left months ago. Or you get a load of good stuff as well, a load of carrots and maybe a couple of sticks that I like, but we do need to sort out the changing rooms, which is the example we always give. Or
But we don't match people, the thing, isn't it?
yeah, but that conversation could be, did you have an induction? Going back to the recipes, have you ever joined one of our challenges, another one of the recipes, to say that, okay, we did fail this person a little bit, but by having that conversation, we've learned that, but it also gives us a bit more ammo or tools, as you say, in the toolbox to have a better conversation with them.
Yeah, for sure. And what we see through the toolbox, so when we work with our partners, we'll look at their overall retention strategy. What are the options? So again, the team don't have to escalate it to other team members. They can signpost effectively. And people aren't looking for a 3-month guide. They're looking for the program with you. Let's get you booked into a one-to-one. They're looking for potentially guest passes. Quite often we hear actually, and in fact, it's on point, but I was reviewing some of the insight we had for one of our partners the other day. And one of the reasons that was quoted for joining was to make friends. And then this person was leaving. Now, to retain them, essentially, they were given guest passes so they could bring friends in, which was fantastic. But how we can take that back to that onboarding piece. So I wonder what that journey was. Did that person join? Somebody didn't ask the question around your motivation. So we missed out immediately on the fact this person is looking for that social environment. It's screaming group X, isn't it? Let's move them to there. But I know that's in your main, so I won't spend too much time on that. But it's about getting that starter right, isn't it? From the absolute start.
Yeah, for sure. But understanding that from the feedback you're getting. So listen, in a nutshell, this is a dessert course. It is a sweetener. As Jules says, we don't really want people to get there, but unless you are running a perfect club, you will have people trying to leave. And you'll have people trying to leave in January, believe it or not. People leave every month. So have a little look at this recipe from the book, or hopefully you got a couple of extra snippets from this chat. And yeah, just reach out and spend a bit more time thinking about your leavers. You'll learn lots and maybe save a few as well.
Yeah, but I think before
final thoughts, Jules?
Final thoughts. There's always a final thought before we mix this recipe up for good. But coming back to your point around the insight that we get, we have seen that for the cancellations that come through our platform, 3/4, and this is across the board, consistent figure, 3/4 say they would consider joining again in the future. So even if in that moment in time, you are unable to keep them active for whatever reason, there's an opportunity to potentially suspend, freeze. But that thank you, and when you're ready to come back to us, is really important. And that for me will always be the sweetener, where the cherry on top, thanks for being with us. So on that note,
Absolutely. Thanks, well, Jules. Thanks for being with us. Always good to catch up. People can find you at all of the ActiveNet events, probably all the UK Active events, or on LinkedIn. So reach out to either of us with questions on this. And thank you very much for listening.
thank you.